welcome back to my channel, and welcome to today's flight review. Today we find ourselves at San Francisco International Airport, trying this relatively new route. Today, I will be flying United Airlines Polaris Business Class, flying out of San Francisco International Airport, and flying into Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Manila, Philippines. I will be sharing this experience with you all, so be sure to keep on watching to see more details and my thoughts on this relatively new route. The lack of competition of mainland US to Philippine routes made Philippine Airlines the only airline to operate direct flights between the two countries. However, that all changed once United launched their San Francisco to Manila route, which was met with much praise and fanfare from consumers and aviation enthusiasts alike. This route is currently served by a Boeing 777-300ER with a scheduled flight time of 15 hours and 15 minutes. This route operates daily to and from Manila. After checking in and making it past security, I was met with the United Polaris Lounge directly to my right. This two-story flagship lounge is only accessible for passengers flying on transoceanic Polaris cabin or business and first-class customers on a Star Alliance flight. This was my first time in the San Francisco Polaris Lounge, so I was pretty excited to check it out and see what it had to offer. After checking in into the lounge, you're met with an option to go into a studio area on the first floor, or go upstairs into the main part of the lounge. I decided to go straight upstairs and see the main buffet and dining area. The San Francisco Polaris Lounge consists of two floors. The first floor was where more quiet seating spaces were located, filled with plenty of couches and chairs for solo travelers and group travelers alike. The first floor is also where the dedicated quiet suites and shower suites are located, but unfortunately I didn't have the chance to check those out during my time in the lounge. Up the escalator is where you can find the second floor of the lounge, where the main dining and seating sections are located. Here you can find a full-service bar, customer service area, two buffets, one main one and one smaller one, and a full-service restaurant. I chose to eat at the restaurant since there was no wait. The menu selection at the restaurant was quite limited, but understandable because of the plentiful options held at the buffet. The restaurant's food was decent, but it was portioned quite small. Also on the second floor is where the restrooms are located. To find the restroom, you go down this beautiful hallway which is adorned with this beautiful star light feature. The restrooms were spacious and had a few amenities such as lotion and facial tissues. The lounge also offers some great but partially obstructed views of the gates, where plenty of aircraft were getting ready to board and depart this time of night. After spending roughly 2 hours in the lounge, it was almost time to board the aircraft. We will be boarding out of gate G2 today. The gate was quite crowded and somewhat chaotic. I did not like how the gate agents handled the boarding process. They made it quite confusing and disorganized, and it was often unclear when we were supposed to board. There was no formal announcement for when it was time for Group 1 to board, so I was somewhat late into boarding once Group 1 started to board. Today we will be sitting in seat 5 Alpha, which is on the left side of the cabin. When booking and selecting your seat, be sure to select an odd number seat for a more private seat. Waiting at the seat was a blanket, a comforter, 2 pillows, one of which being the famous Polaris gel pillow, and a Therabody Amenity Kit. We'll take a look at the Amenity Kit shortly. After getting settled in my seat, the flight attendants went around with a pre-departure beverage with a choice of water or champagne. They also went around confirming everyone's dinner orders for those who pre-ordered their meals and those who ordered special meals like I did. While we wait for the rest of the boarding process to be completed, let's take a look at the Amenity Kit. United recently changed their Polaris Amenity Kits, and they are now being supplied in this Therabody crossbody bag. Inside the Amenity Kit, you can find socks, an eye mask, a pen, earplugs, facial tissues, a dental kit, and a pack of Therabody toiletries, which included a towelette, a lip balm, hand cream, hydrating mist, and an eye serum. Now let's take a look around the seat. The seat felt extremely comfortable and plush. In the middle of the seat is where the TV or in-flight entertainment system is located, and another USB outlet, and a small storage area where I put some books inside. The tray table pushes out from under the TV, and you are able to adjust it however close you'd like it to be. Once the tray table unfolds, it's actually quite a decent size. There were also 2 individual air vents located above each seat, which I greatly appreciated because this is often not found in cabins anymore. To the right of the seat, we find a little table area with a cabinet, which houses the headphones and a complimentary bottle of Dasani water. Below the cabinet is where the remote for the in-flight entertainment is housed, and also an outlet and a USB outlet, and also where you plug in the headphones. Also on the right side, you have an adjustable armrest, and in this armrest is where the literature is located. There is also an adjustable light, which you can swivel however you'd like. To the left of the seat is where the seat controls are located. The seat is quite customizable to your preference. Before we pushed back, the flight attendants went around passing out pajamas and slippers to everyone, with there being 2 sizes for the pajamas, small medium or large extra large. As we push back, let's watch a little bit of the safety video. And now it's time for takeoff. To watch the full unedited pushback, taxiing, takeoff, and landing footage, I'll put a link to the video above and in the description box. Now that we're in the air, let's take a look at the Wi-Fi. I was quite disappointed that free Wi-Fi wasn't offered on this flight. However, paying $8 for 15.5 hours of Wi-Fi is not a bad deal, so I gladly paid the $8 for the flight. The Wi-Fi had some decent speeds, definitely a lot faster than other in-flight Wi-Fis that I've used. Now let's take a look at the in-flight entertainment options. The TV screen itself was quite big, and the touchscreen aspect was pretty responsive. There were hundreds of options for movies and TV shows. They also had music and podcasts available, which also had so many options. You are also able to add content to your favorites, and I found it to be very useful because there were so many options and it was often hard to keep track of what you wanted to watch. Once in the air, the flight attendants went around passing out hot towels, and after collecting the used hot towels, they passed around warm nuts and a selection of drinks. I went with a glass of water to stay hydrated during this long flight. After this, they went around and started the dinner service. I pre-ordered a vegan meal, so luckily I was able to get my meal pretty quickly. However, take a look at this. Does this look appetizing to you? It definitely was not appetizing to me. The food I was served, which to be quite honest I don't know what it is, was quite bland, mushy, uncreative, and cold. I wish they wouldn't serve the dinners cafeteria style, and rather serve each course individually. I was quite disappointed with this meal. However, look at these fun salt and pepper shakers. These were quite unique. After that disappointing meal, why don't we get ready for bed and check out the bathroom? The bathroom was pretty basic, however, it had everything you might need during the flight. I do like the touchless faucet, that was a nice touch. I then decided to make my bed, since the cabin lights were already dimmed anyways. Unfortunately, there is no turn-down service offered, so I had to make myself, which was no problem at all, to be honest. It was hard to get footage of the bed itself because it was so dark, so apologies for the footage. I actually requested a mattress topper, which made the bed even more comfortable than the seat. I followed LA to Luxury's method of making her Polaris bed. I'll leave a link to that video in the description, but her method made the bed super comfortable. As you can see, there was plenty of space in the footwell to move around. It was very spacious and comfortable. I'll see you all once I wake up. I slept for probably a good 8 hours. That was definitely one of the best, if not the best, sleeps I've ever had on an airplane. Anyways, after I woke up, there were only 2 hours left of the flight, and this was the time that the flight attendants went around passing out another set of hot towels, implying it was time for the breakfast service. And here's my breakfast. This looks slightly more appetizing than my dinner, and I definitely enjoyed it more than my dinner. However, I felt it was still quite uncreative and wished there was more substance to it. I devoured it because I was starving after that inedible dinner I had. Take a look at this beautiful sunrise. Now we're roughly 1 hour away from touching down into Manila. As we start our approach, let's appreciate the beautiful Philippine scenery. Again, to watch the unedited footage, the link to the video will be in the description box below. Welcome to Ninoy Aquino International Airport, located in Manila, Philippines. We landed 30 minutes ahead of schedule, with the local time now being 6:20 a.m. As we taxi towards the gate, why don't I tell you about my final thoughts about the flight? Overall, I was pretty pleased with the flight. The hard product that United offers with the Polaris seat and amenities is great. The bed was extremely comfortable, and the Polaris Lounge in San Francisco was definitely one of the highlights. However, I found the flight attendants to be somewhat standoffish. Yes, they were nice and helpful, but they didn't impress me and they weren't all too personable. They weren't overly exceptional, but they did their job. They were always smiling and professional. However, a major critique I have is the in-flight catering. The food was not presentable. Even looking at the typical food they served on the flight, it wasn't presented all that well, and I heard mixed reviews about what they offered. I was extremely disappointed and unsatisfied with what they provided for my special meal. I do wish they would improve on that. Overall, this is quite a solid option if you're planning to fly from the mainland US to the Philippines. I've heard United is much better than what Philippine Airlines has to offer on the same route. I would definitely fly this route again if I had the choice. Regarding how I booked this flight, I was lucky enough to pay for this flight using credit card points. I transferred roughly 88,000 Air Canada Aeroplan miles to book this ticket, which is quite a steal considering how long this flight is, and how much it costs to pay in cash. I plan on sharing my techniques in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, I greatly appreciate your support, and stay tuned for my next flight review. See you next time.